Welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're exploring false daisies.
Yeah. And we're going to be drawing on the experiences of a software engineer.
A software engineer.
Yeah, turned gardener, a guy named Ang.
Okay.
And he's been documenting his journey with cultivating native plants, especially false daisies, in his blog. We thought this would be a great deep dive, especially if you're a beginning gardener.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, false daisies, they're not a plant you hear about every day, are they? So what makes them so special?
Well, one thing Ang found really interesting was their ability to self-propagate. He noticed new seedlings would pop up constantly, like everywhere, even in the surrounding soil.
Wow. Like even if the seeds were, not in the best shape.
Yeah, it didn't really matter if the seeds were wilted or mature. They just sprouted.
Huh. So that would be pretty convenient for someone, someone like me who's not exactly a master gardener.
Exactly. I mean, that's the beauty of self-propagation. The plant basically takes care of multiplying itself, so you don't have to worry so much about, all the complicated steps of propagation.
So, like, less work, more flowers. I like the sound of that.
Definitely.
Now, I noticed Ang also mentioned transplanting the false daisies. What exactly does that involve?
Oh, transplanting just means, taking a plant from one place and moving it to another.
Oh, okay.
In this case, Ang took them from where they were growing wild and planted them in his pots and garden beds.
Gotcha. But I imagine that, just yanking a plant out of the ground and sticking it somewhere else could be, well, a little rough on the plant.
Yeah, you're right. Transplanting can definitely be a bit stressful for plants. They're settling in a totally new environment. The soil might be different, the sunlight exposure, things like that.
Right, right. And speaking of stress, Ang also mentions that his false daisies ran into some trouble with pests, specifically mealybugs.
Ugh, mealybugs. Every gardener's nightmare, am I right?
Uh-huh, pretty much. I remember battling those tiny white bugs on my basil plants a couple summers ago. It was a nightmare. So, just how bad are these mealybugs?
Well, they're pretty sneaky. They're small and they blend in with the plant. You usually find them hiding on the underside of leaves.
Oh, so they're like tiny little vampires sucking the life out of the plant.
Basically, they feed on the plant's sap, which weakens it and can even cause, yellowing leaves, wilting, and eventually even death.
Yikes, that's no good. No wonder Ang was concerned.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, he noticed that the mealybugs were especially bad when the false daisies were in the shade.
So it's like the poor plants are stressed from being moved and then they're getting attacked by these bugs while they're trying to recover. Not cool.
Exactly. It just goes to show that even though false daisies are pretty tough, they still have their weaknesses.
Okay, so now I gotta know, is there anything Ang can do about these mealybugs? I'm all for natural gardening, so are there any organic solutions?
That's a great question, and something we're going to explore in more detail in this deep dive. We'll be looking at some of the natural remedies and preventative measures and can try to, fight back against those mealybugs.
This is getting interesting. Now I'm really curious to see what solutions we come up with. I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, let's go.
I'm really curious about Ang's choice to go with native plants in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's the appeal there?
Well, more and more gardeners are getting into native plants these days.
Really?
Yeah. And Ang's blog kind of touches on that. He wants a garden that, like, fits in with the local ecosystem.
Right.
Native plants, they've evolved in the area, right? So they're already adapted to the climate and the soil.
Yeah.
They tend to be tougher and easier to take care of.
So, like, less work for the gardener.
Exactly.
Like, he's creating this little haven for the plants that belong there.
Yeah, and it's great for local pollinators, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like bees and butterflies.
Yeah.
Like, those are super important. They need native plants to survive.
Wow. So it's not just about, like, making his garden look pretty?
No, not at all.
It's about helping the whole environment.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And it actually ties back into the whole mealybug thing.
Really? How so?
Well, if he wants to keep things natural, he can't just douse everything in pesticides.
Right.
That would totally defeat the purpose of having a native plant garden.
Yeah. So what are his options then? Like, are there ways to get rid of mealybugs without using harsh chemicals?
Yeah, there are definitely some things he can try. One option is to bring in beneficial insects.
Like, what kind of insects?
Like ladybugs.
Oh, okay.
They love to eat mealybug.
Oh, wow. It's like fighting bugs with bugs?
Yeah, it's called biological control.
I like it.
And there are other natural remedies, too.
Oh, like what?
Well, a simple solution of dish soap and water can work.
Really?
Yeah, it basically suffocates the mealybugs.
Oh, interesting.
And neem oil is another good one.
Neem oil. Yeah, I've heard of that.
It messes with their life cycle.
Keeps those bugs from multiplying.
Yep. So, he's got options. And I think that's what makes Aang's story so cool.
Yeah.
He's got this problem, right? But instead of giving up, he's trying to solve it in a way that aligns with his whole gardening philosophy.
I see. Yeah. Like he's not just throwing any solution at it.
Exactly. He's thinking it through.
And it's interesting because, like, I don't know if there's always a right answer when it comes to gardening, you know?
That's so true. There are so many factors to consider, right?
Right.
It's all about finding what works best in your specific situation.
It's like every garden is its own little experiment.
Absolutely.
You learn as you go.
And, those aha moments when you figure something out, they're the best.
Totally. I really love this idea of working with nature, not against it.
It's definitely a different mindset.
Yeah. And I think Aang is a great example of that.
Definitely. He's really embracing that philosophy.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into false daisies, what do you think are the most important things for our listeners to take away from Aang's story? I think anyone who's interested in gardening, especially like native plants, can learn a lot from Aang's story.
For sure. It really shows you the good and the bad, the rewards and the challenges of growing native species.
Right, right.
And the false daisy, it seems like a perfect plant for beginners because it just, takes care of itself.
Yeah. Like you were saying before, it's low maintenance, it's easy to grow.
Exactly. But even with a plant like that, you got to be aware of its needs.
Its quirks.
Yeah, its quirks, like the mealybug thing.
Yeah, you really got to watch out for those little guys.
That's just part of gardening, right? You got to stay vigilant and be ready to adapt.
To experiment.
Exactly. Try different things until you find what works.
And it's cool that there are so many natural options out there, you know?
Totally. You don't always have to reach for the harsh chemicals.
So basically, Aang's journey kind of brings us full circle. Right?
Back to his original goal of creating this eco-friendly garden.
Exactly. He wants to work with nature, not against it.
I love that. And I think that's something we can all learn from.
Oh, definitely. It's a great philosophy for gardening and really for life in general.
I think this deep dive has been really eye-opening.
In what way?
It's made me realize that gardening is so much more than just, making things look pretty.
It really is.
It's about understanding the interconnectedness of everything.
Absolutely.
It's about respecting nature and finding ways to, live in harmony with it.
And, that connection with nature is something we all need, I think.
Definitely. Even if you just have a little pot of herbs on your windowsill.
Yeah. You can still experience that sense of wonder, that connection to something bigger than yourself.
And who knows, maybe Aang's story will inspire some of our listeners to try their hand at gardening.
That would be amazing.
Or maybe it'll just make them appreciate the natural world a little bit more.
I hope so. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of false daisies.
It's been a fascinating journey.
Until next time, happy gardening, everyone.
Happy gardening.